All right, here are your notes. We are on unit 2.1.4. It is what makes a zero. Starting on the right side, the Miss Gall led the correct stuff. Your essential question is, how can I create zeros on an expression map with algebra tiles? Go ahead and copy the unit, your essential question, and copy this diagram, leaving about just a little bit at the bottom, not a whole lot, about a fourth of the page. So you let this take up about a fourth of your page. I will pause it, or you need to pause it here to copy down this first stuff. So the units 214, essential question, how can I create zeros on an expression map with algebra tiles? And then you're gonna copy this diagram down. Okay, so zeros, we know that a -1 plus a +1 is 0. A -2 plus a +2 is 0. So that's what we're looking to create. We're looking to get opposites that will cancel each other out on our expression maps. There are 4 different ways we can find zeros that we could, the idea is we're going to take those off the expression map. If it's a 0, it doesn't mean anything, and we could take both those tiles off without changing anything. The first way is if we have the same color tiles, but they're in different zones of our mat. So I could have a blue tile in the positive zone. So remember, everything in the positive zone is what it says it is. So if it's a positive tile in the positive zone, it's a +1. And that would create a 0 with another blue tile down in the opposite of zone. Because remember, anything down there is the opposite of what it says it is. So if I put a positive tile down there, it is actually a -1. So this represents +1, and this actually represents -1. So together that makes a 0. I could do the same thing with a negative tile. I could put a negative tile in that positive region, and I could put a negative tile in the opposite of region, and that would mean that this means -1, and the opposite of a negative tile is actually a +1. So if I ever see pairs like that on an expression mat, I can get rid of those. I could cross them off. I could ignore them. They don't matter, because when I add those tiles together, they're going to give me a 0. If I was combining like terms, I would be combining a +1 with a -1, which we know ends up equaling 0 or canceling each other out. So the idea of making zeros is basically, what tiles could we get rid of because they end up equaling 0. So it could look like this, where you've got the same color, one on the top, one on the bottom, or it could look like 2 tiles in the same zone that are different colors. So this one's probably going to be a little more obvious to see. That would be something like having a positive tile. Make sure you're taking notes with me. Having a positive tile in the positive zone and having a negative tile in the positive zone. Together, those will cancel out, because that'll be a +1 and that'll be a -1. So I could cross those off. If I was combining like terms, those would cancel each other out. +1 -1 equals 0. So then I could do the same thing in the other zone. I could have a negative tile in the opposite of zone, and that would cancel out with a positive tile in the opposite of zone. So the red tile actually shows +1, because a negative tile in the opposite of zone is a +1, and the blue tile shows a -1 because a positive tile in the opposite of zone is a -1. Those will cancel. So if you ever see any pairs like this on an expression mat, you can cancel them. You can cross them off. They have created zeros, and that includes if I had an X tile on top and a red and an X tile on the bottom. It doesn't matter what the tile is. It could be unit tiles, X tiles, Y tiles. If you have two of the same color in different regions, so 2 blue X tiles, those X tiles are gone. You are looking for tiles that cancel. So if we were to look, go ahead and pause here. This is the bottom of your right side. We're going to do 2 practice problems together. It says build the following expression and remove any 0 pairs. So we're going to go ahead and have you pause here, get this copied down, and then we can do this work together. All right, so we are looking for 0 pairs on this first mat. So I am looking for anything that is the same color in the opposite zones or different colors in the same. So here is what I see. The first one that I see is these X tiles. So this X tile and this X tile. Those are same colors, different regions, because this is a positive X and technically this one is a negative X. So those create a 0. I can cross those out. That's not part of my expression. Now I look at my unit tiles. I could remove unit tiles 2 ways. You could either pair them up like this. So there's a 0 there. I have different tiles in the same region. So that's a -1. That's a +1. So those are gone. And I see one more 0 pair here. I've got same color, different region with those unit tiles. This is a +1. This is a -1. So I can also get rid of those tiles. And then when we are done getting rid of our tiles, we want to rename the picture. So what's left in my picture? I have a positive X tile, right? So I've still got this guy. So that's X. And I've still got this guy +1. So basically what we just did kind of was combining like terms by creating these zeros, and I was left with just X +1. So if we look at the next one, I'm looking for my 0 pairs. So same color, different region, different color, same region. The first one that jumps out to me are these Ys. I've got different color, same region. This is +Y, this is -Y. I know that equals 0, so I can get rid of both of those. And this is a good way to show your work. What else do I see? So can I do this? Can I get rid of these? Did those make zeros? Hopefully in your head you said no, because those are different color, different regions, and that's not one of the things we're looking for. So those are not zeros. But I could make a 0 right here with those unit tiles, because I have, technically this is -1, this is +1, because they're in the opposite. Different color, same region. So those are gone. I see one more. Do you guys see the one that I'm missing? The one that I'm missing, I've got a same color, different region here. So I'm going to circle these. This is technically plus x. This is minus x. So those x tiles are gone. Let's look at what I've got left. I've got this left. I've got these 3 unit tiles here. And I have these unit tiles up there. So what I have left, I highlighted. So I need to name that guy. So I now have negative x, because that's a positive x tile in the negative zone, so he's a negative x. I've got 2 red tiles up there, minus 2. And these 3 down here are actually minus 3 because they're positive tiles in the negative region. So minus 2, minus 3. If I combine like terms, I have negative x minus 5 is what I'm left with after I get rid of zeros. So that's your right side. Rewatch that as much as you need to until it starts to make more sense. And now we're going to move on to your left side. So this is the you practice, and then I will go over. So left side, you're going to draw 4 of these. So just keep that in mind spacing wise. So here's your first one. Make sure you copy it all down. It says build the following expression, remove any 0 pairs you see, rewrite simplified expressions on the new mat, and put its new algebraic name below. So I will build this with you. I'm going to put an X tile. So pause if you need to, and then you can build this with me. X tile. Here we go. And we'll put some negative tiles on there. All right, so there you have it. I would like you to pause and try to remove any zeros, and then write the name of what you have left over after you remove those zeros. So if you're taking these notes on your own, you need to pause and try it on your own first. It can be tempting to just watch me do the work, but you're not going to learn that way. You've got to try and then fix your errors. So pause me and try. All right, if I'm going in and removing some 0 pairs, now you might see 0 pairs a little differently than I do, as long as we end up at the same place. The 0 pairs I see right away is I'm going to pair up those unit tiles. Those are different colors, same side, so they're gone. I also can pair up these X tiles, because those are also different colors, same side. So all those X tiles are gone. I don't see any other zeros. I can't combine those unit tiles because those are different color, different side. That's not one of our zeros. So now I need to redraw what I have left over. I have 3 positive unit tiles up there. I was left with one of my blue X tiles here and 1 red unit tile. So now I need to name this. If you haven't done that already, go ahead and give it a try. This is a negative X because it's in the opposite of region. And this is actually a plus 1 because it's in the opposite of region. So I have negative X plus 3 plus 1. If I combine like terms, that's negative x plus 4 is what you should get. So negative x plus 4. So now let's do another one. So if you didn't, pause and copy 2 more expression mats, and then we'll build it together. Okay, so let's build. I'm going to throw a Y tile in there. And let's get some more red tiles in. All right, that's good. Won't make it too much more difficult. So now you need to pause, and you need to try and find as many 0 pairs as you can and redraw this without those, and then try to name it. So pause this and try it yourself. Okay, 0 pairs that I see. I want to point out that it's tempting to circle those Y's, but those do not create a 0. That's different color, different sides, which is not one of our options. So I am going to circle these unit tiles. I can get rid of those, different color, same side. These X tiles are going to create, because that's same color, different side. Those are gone. And I've got another pair of unit tiles down there that can go. So let's redraw what we have left. I've got just this Y tile up here, and then I've got a Y tile down here, and a unit tile left. So not a whole lot left. We got rid of most everything. Let's remember that this is a plus Y. This is also plus Y because it is a negative in the opposite of region, which means this is a plus 1 because it is a negative in the opposite region. So if I'm going to add these, you have Y plus 1, combine like terms, and you have 2Y plus 1. If you were able to get either of those or both of those, that is awesome. All right, we're going to do our last 2 on the left side. So here are your instructions. So simplify each by first you need to build them, then you remove the zeros, then you redraw, and then you write the name. So the only new step is you have to build it. And remember that this here, this parentheses with the negative in front of it means that those tiles go in the opposite of region. That's why it's written like that. So when you see a negative parentheses, what's inside, it means you put those tiles down below. So we can build this first one together if you don't want to pause, if you feel like you don't know how to get started. If you want to challenge yourself, pause it and try and build this on your own. So I'm going to start with my stuff not in parentheses. That's what goes up top. I just have 3 X tiles. So I'm going to draw 3 blue X tiles. Now I know they're not the exact same size, but that's my whole doesn't have to be perfect thing. Now I'm going to do my highlighted stuff. That all goes in the bottom region, the opposite of. I've got 2 blue X tiles and 4 blue unit tiles. Now I do want you to pause, find and remove any zeros, redraw it without the zeros, and name the new drawing. So hopefully this one wasn't too hard because everything was blue, but the only zeros I see are these X's. Same color, different side. This shows plus 2 X's, and this actually shows minus 2 X's. So those are gone. So your new drawing should have looked like this. You had an X tile left over and you didn't touch your 4 units. This is plus X, and this is actually minus 4 because those positive tiles are in the opposite of region. So this guy's name should be X plus 4. Okay, so try and build this one. This one's a little harder. If it's in parentheses and it has a negative in front of it, those tiles go on the bottom. If it's out of parentheses, those tiles go on the top. Try drawing this and then unpause and see if you drew it correctly. So starting with, I need to start with 7 positive unit tiles on the top, not in the parentheses. Okay, now I'm gonna go and do the highlighted stuff. That's my stuff that goes in parentheses. So I have 4 positive Y tiles. There they are. That's a Y, that's a Y, Y, and Y. And I have 3 negative unit tiles. So there's the highlighted part down there on the bottom. Now I go to that 2Y. That's 2 positive Y tiles that are in the top because it's not in parentheses, and 4 negative unit tiles. So that is how it should be drawn correctly. Pause me and get rid of as many 0 pairs as you see. There are more than one way to get rid of some of these zeros. All right, so here is what I would do. I would take 4 of these units, pair them with those 4, and do a different color, same side. Those are gone. And then the other 0 that I see are these Y's, same color, different side. Those are gone. You also could have paired some of these red tiles with these right here and done zeros that way too. So there was more than one way basically to get rid of these 4 tiles. Now we need to write what we have left. So if you haven't done that or you need to fix it, fix it. Up top, I was just left with 4 unit tiles. Down below, I still have 2 Y tiles and 3 red unit tiles. So that's what I'm left with after we get rid of our zeros. I know that this means plus 4 because that's just 4 positive tiles in the positive zone. Now, remember, everything in the opposite zone is the opposite of what it says it is. So if I have 2 blue tiles, that's actually minus 2y. And if I have 3 red tiles, that's actually plus 3. So if I name this and I write it in the correct order, that's negative 2y plus 3 plus 4. And I can combine like terms to there to get negative 2y plus 7. All right, so this was a kind of a tricky lesson, so you need to rewatch this as many times as you need to. Don't forget to take a picture of your notes and upload it for your assignment for today.